Hey Critter, hope you're doing well, and today we're back with some more Minecraft Dungeons. But today we are back with yet again another ranking video. Same thing as last time, I want to be ranking every bow in the game, but based on their looks. So let's get started. First up we have the Corrupt Crossbow, and honestly I really like the look of this bow. I think it looks super cool. I love the red, I love the purple. I love just like the shape of the bow. It has like a little tentacle thingies. I think this one looks super good, super unique, and I think it's going to be our first S tier. Next up, we have the Loopy Bow, and this is our first special event, like limited time edition bow, and this one also looks super cool. I love basically all the special or limited time event items because they just look super cool. They're basically just reskins of normal unique bows, but I think they just look awesome, and honestly, this one's also going into S tier. I love the eyes on it and like the little mouth. I think, yeah, so cool. Next up, we have the Shrieking Crossbow. This is another limited time event item, and this one also looks super cool. It's basically like a phantom. I feel like it has like, I don't know, like almost little pinchers there, got wings. This one's so cool, and honestly, this one would probably go into like S plus if I had that tier because I love the look of this crossbow. But for right now, just S because I don't have a higher tier, but this crossbow gotta be one of my favorites. Next up, we have the baby crossbows, and these ones I feel like are kind of boring. They're kind of fun just because they're small and like that's unique for a bow. But besides that, like color scheme and just looks and stuff, kind of boring. They're kind of just pink. And so for that, I think they're going to be our first F tier because I feel like they're just kind of lackluster, kind of boring. Also, this tier list is of course just my opinion on what bows I think looks cool. So if you think a bow looks super cool and I put it like low down, obviously don't be offended. This is just what bows I think look cool. Next up, we have the Auto Crossbow, and as much as I like using this bow, looks-wise, I don't know, it's kind of cool, but overall looks-wise, I don't know, it's kind of boring and probably D tier. Up next, we have the Veiled Crossbow, and I, yet again, really like the look of this one. Very, the colors are very pleasing. I like all the different colors. I feel like they go together well. I don't think it's quite S tier. I think it's just a solid A tier. Here we have the Void Collar, and I don't know why, because it's kind of like the same thing as like the baby crossbows and stuff. The colors and whatnot are kind of boring, but for some reason this one also just looks cooler. I don't think it's quite A or S tier, but I do think it's B tier just because, I don't know, like, it's just interesting to me. Like this, like there's nothing there, which is like confusing, but also makes it look cool. I don't really get it, but something about this bow has always just screamed like, this is a cool bow. Next up, we have the Firebolt Thrower, and to be honest, I think this is going to be our first C tier. This bow I don't feel like is too great, but it's not that bad. Kind of looks like solid middle of the tier, just middle of the road looking bow. Up next, we have the Call of the Void, and this bow I think is also going to be S tier. I love the colors, I love the look, I feel like it's super unique. Next up, we have the Elite Power Bow, and I don't know, I don't love this bow. I don't think it's quite F tier material. I think it's going to be D tier, but something about it, I don't know, I don't think it's that interesting. It's kind of just gold and it's kind of just there. Next up, we have the Burst Gale Bow, and I think this one's going to be A tier. It could be S, but well, no, I think I changed my mind. I think this is S tier. I love how intricate the bow structure is. It has like, it's shaped very cool. I wish it was more than just gold, but at the same time that kind of adds to it because you can kind of see like how elegant of a bow it could be, because it's just gold. The shape of it's very cool and it looks great. Up next, we have the Slicer, and I think this is going to be a solid B tier. I like the colors, I like the look of it, the shape of it for like a crossbow I think is pretty unique, and it looks good. Next up, we have the Bone Bow, and even though this one, color-wise and stuff doesn't look super interesting, I think it is really cool because it's made of a bone. Like, you can kind of see like the little bone thing there, and it's literally just curved around. And for that fact alone, I think it, belongs in A tier because even though just kind of looking at it, like first glance, you're like, that was kind of boring. But like the more you look at it and like the closer detail you get, you're like, that's kind of cool, and that's pretty unique. Next up, we have the Guardian Bow, and I'm torn between putting this one in A and B tier. I really like the look of the bow, like the shape of it. I think it's going to go in A tier though. I could see it being in B, but I think A tier is better. Here we got the Nocturnal Bow, and I feel like as far as soul bows, this one does a really good job of capturing that. I don't know what it is about it, just like the kind of like dim, darker colors of just like the gray and like the light blue really screams like soul bow to me. I don't really know why, but I really like the look of this one as far as soul bows go. But as far as just all other bows go, I don't know, kind of just C tier. I do like the look of it, but I feel like it's kind of just middle of the road. Up next, we have the Haunted Bow, and honestly, this one would go straight into S+ if I had one. This is one of my favorite bows in the game. I think it looks super cool, and it was one of the first limited time like special event items that came out, and it just looks awesome. Also, I'm just doing rankings based on the unique versions of the bows because one, I don't have all the non-unique versions, and two, let's be honest, the unique versions are basically the cooler looking versions of the non-uniques. But for whatever reason you want to see me ranking all the non-unique versions, let me know and maybe I'll do that in the future. Also, I wish I had time in this video to take in like the lore of all these bows too and incorporate that with the rankings. Because like every bow, of course, has a description and some of them are really cool and I feel like it adds to the bow. But unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time. I do kind of take that into account when I'm ranking them. I just can't explain it because this video would be like an hour long. But definitely check out all the lore on the bows because they're super fun. Next up, we have the Winter's Touch, and yet again, I feel like this is going to be just another C tier kind of middle of the road type bow because it's kind of just blue. Next up, we have the Imploding Crossbow, and as far as like mechanics and stuff, this bow's super cool. It's super unique. Not a lot of bows do what this bow does, but as far as looks, it's kind of just a brown and purple crossbow. Not special, kind of boring looking, so for that it's going in F tier. Up next we have the Spellbound crossbows, and very similar to the baby crossbows, I feel like they're pretty boring. I feel like they look a little bit better. They have a little bit more color variation, and I do like just the general color overall, but they're still not great and probably just going into D tier, maybe even F, but I think they are a smidge better, so they're gonna go one tier higher. Next up, we have the Mechanical Short Bow, and sadly, this is probably going to go in F tier or D tier, because just looks-wise, it's pretty boring. I do like the bow, but just looking at it, it's kind of just gray, so for much of the same reasons as the other F tier bows, it's probably got to go in F. Next up, we have the Azure Seeker, and for some reason, I love the look of this bow. I don't think it's quite S tier, but I do think it's A tier. And even though it's kind of just like normal crossbow, basically, I love the blue in it. I love that the string is also blue. It matches. And it's a blue that you don't really see in any other bow, which kind of makes it unique. I feel a little bit bad for putting it into A tier because it is kind of plain. Oh, I think I talked myself out of it. I think it's going to go into B tier, but for some reason, I really like the look of this bow, and the blue, for some reason, just really looks good to me. Up next, we have the Nautical Crossbow, and this one's gotta be S tier because it's super unique. Not only does it look really cool, I love the colors, the shape of it is unlike any other crossbow. It looks so cool, and it fires harpoons, which is super cool because you got this bow from the Underwater DLC, and it's just super unique. Love the look, love the colors, and I'm pretty sure it's the only bow that actually shoots something other than an arrow. Here we have the Red Snake Bow, and I really like the look of this bow because, well, the red, really nice color. I feel like it goes with the blue well, and you can kind of see the snakes in it well, which goes well with the name because, like, you kind of see those being like the snake heads and stuff. I think this bow looks super good. So I'm going to put it into A tier, though. I could definitely see it being S tier, but for some reason, I don't know, I don't feel it's quite S tier material. Up next, we have the Echo of the Valley, and I think this one is S tier because the shape of the bow is super unique. It looks super cool. I love the colors. I think it goes really well. But yeah, definite S tier. I love the shape of this bow. Super unique, and the colors go well with it. Next up, we have the Butterfly Crossbow, and this one's like, I'm torn. It's like kind of unique because you can kind of see like it has like two bows, and that's what this unique one actually does. It shoots two arrows, which is pretty cool. But like, it's kind of hard to see the difference in it, and unless you're looking like really hard, it kind of just looks like a normal crossbow. And for that, I think it's going to go into D tier. If the two bow look was more like pronounced and stuff and you could see it better, I feel like it'd go way higher. That'd be super cool. But since it's kind of hard to make out and it kind of just looks like a normal crossbow, it's got to go lower for that. Here we have the Master's Bow, and this has got to be, sadly, one of the most boring, unique bows because it just looks like a normal bow, which is kind of sad. It just looks like a, you know, bow made out of wood, which is like kind of cool because it's unique to all the other unique bows. But as far as look goes, yeah, when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that's just a like plain old bow. Like I feel like when I first got this bow, I didn't even realize it was unique. So sadly, it's got to go into F tier. Next up, we have the Love Spell bow, and I do like the look of this one because I feel like it goes really well with the name yet again, because like it has the hearts on it, it's pink. I think it looks super nice. I don't think it's quite worthy of S tier, but I do think it's a solid A tier, maybe even like an A plus tier if I had that. But overall, I do like the look of this bow, and I feel like the name of it just perfect, goes so well with the bow. Up next, we have the webbed bow, and yet again, this is another like special event limited time item. But I think this one isn't actually worthy of S tier, and it's not quite as cool as some of the other ones because besides the fact that this is a web, it's kind of boring. If it wasn't called the webbed bow and it had a web right here, it would be going into F. If the string wasn't a cobweb, then yeah, it would be so boring. And so for that, it's just going to go into A tier. It's still a really cool looking bow. I love the fact that it is a web. I feel like that makes it super unique. I think it goes well with the name, everything like that. But I don't think it's worthy of going into S like the other ones. Up next, we have the Bone of Lost Souls, and I really like the look of this bow. I think it looks super cool. I don't think it's quite S tier material, but I think it is even like A plus if I had it, but sadly I don't, so it's just going to go into A tier. But I do really like the look of this bow. Next up, we have the Green Menace, and much for the same reasons as all the other bows in F tier, it's going into F because it's kind of boring, just normal bow shape, and it's just, when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, that's green bow. Next up, we have the Purple Storm, and even though I like the name of it, sadly it does have to go into F tier because yet again, like all the other bows in F, it's just a purple bow. It's literally just a plain old looking bow, but it's purple, and so for that, it's gotta go low. Here we have the Weeping Vine bow, and I like the look of this bow, but something about it doesn't really scream S or A tier. I think it's mostly because it's just all red, and I feel like for this one that actually makes it worse. So I feel like it just being all red kind of actually just ruins it, and for that it's going to go into B tier. You know, still a pretty solid tier. Next up, we have the Soul Hunter crossbow, and I love the look of this bow. I love kind of like the purple pink color. I love the blue that goes with it. I feel like it goes with it super well. I love the name. For some reason, it doesn't quite scream S tier, so it's going to go into A. Up next, we have the Doom crossbow, and unfortunately, even though this one has a super cool name, the look of it isn't great, and this is probably going to be a C tier, kind of just middle of the road type bow. Next up, we have the Bubble Burster, and for some reason, this bow's never seemed like that cool to me, and it's just going to go into B tier. It's still a good tier. Next up, we have the Pride of the Piglins, and I think this bow is super unique. I love the little gears on it and stuff like that. But besides that, it's kind of boring. It's kind of just red, and for that, it's going to go into C tier's middle of the road. The only redeeming quality I feel like is the gears on it. Like if it didn't have those little gears that make it look really cool, I feel like this would be going into D tier because just the look and the colors, the shape and everything like that, kind of boring. Up next, we have the Twin Bow, and this one's going to go into D tier, sadly. The only thing that's keeping it out of F tier is the fact that it has double strings right here, and that goes really well with its unique ability. And honestly, if it just had one string, it'd be going into F because besides that, it looks pretty boring. Up next, we have the Pink Scoundrel, and I like the shape of this bow and stuff. I think it looks really cool, but I don't think it's quite worthy of S or A just because besides the shape of the bow, it's kind of boring. I think it's still going to go into B tier, which is, you know, pretty solid. Next up, we have the Saberwing, and even though I don't love using this bow, I think the look of this bow is really cool. I love kind of like the silverish with the gold. I think that matches really well, and I feel like you can kind of imagine how cool this bow would look if it was real, which I guess you could kind of do with all these bows, but for some reason this bow has always just seemed super cool to me. I don't think it's quite S tier, but I think it is a really solid A tier. Up next, we have the Phantom Bow, and this is so cool. Yet again, one of my favorite bows. This one would definitely go into S plus if I had that tier, but sadly I don't, so it's just going into S. But it's so cool. It's really just a phantom that's in the shape of a bow. I don't think it's quite as cool as like the Shrieking crossbow. For some reason, this one looks awesome. But this one, so cool. I love that's basically like literally you can see the phantom and it's just been turned into the bow. I think that's so cool. Next up, we have the Hunter's Promise, and besides the little feather right here, this bow is hecka boring. And so for that, it's gotta go into F tier, sadly. If it didn't have that feather, it would go below F. But yeah, sadly this bow just looks so lame. Next up, we have the Lightning Harp Crossbow, and this one is pretty cool, but I think it's just going to go into B tier because I feel like with such a cool name, you know, Lightning Harp, I feel like it'd be way cooler looking, but it's mostly just gray, little bit of blue. I do like that kind of has like the double crossbow look, has the 2 strings. I feel like that's all pretty cool. And overall, it does look pretty nice, but I feel like the name just lets it down. I feel like they could have done something way cooler with this. Honestly, I think I just talked myself out of it. I think it might actually go into C tier because, I don't know, the colors are kind of cool, but like I said, I feel like they could have done a lot better with it, and it's kind of just bland. Up next, we have the Feral Soul Crossbow, and I think this one's going to go into D because, yet again, it's kind of just bland. I think it's a little bit better than some of the F tiers. You know, it's not just all one color. You know, I like the blue string, you know, goes well with the soul vibe. But besides that, it's kind of pretty boring. Next up, we have the Slayer Crossbow, and super cool name, unfortunately, super boring bow. It kind of just looks like D tier, you know, just basically all one color. Shape of it's kind of cool, but overall not great. Up next, we have the Harp Crossbow, and as much as I love using this bow, I use this bow every time I play. Looks wise, it is pretty boring. I feel like it does capture like the harp effect pretty good. You know, it has 3 strings, which is the only bow that has that. It plays a harp sound when you equip it or de-equip it, move it around, which is super cool. But as far as that looks, you know, it's just all gold, and you know, I think it's just middle of the tier, C tier, you know. Kind of boring, could be better, but you know, it's also not terrible. Up next, we have the Sugar Rush Bow, and for some reason, this bow doesn't scream S tier to me, even though it is a special time, limited event time item. I think it's just going to be A tier. I'm kind of running out of room here, so it's going to have to overlap the Saber Wing a little bit. And then finally, we have the Shivering Bow, and this is our last special event item and our last bow. And I really like the look of this bow. You know, it's all ice covered. It has like the crystals coming off of it and everything like that. Something about it isn't telling me to put it into S tier for some reason. You know what? Yeah, sadly, I feel like this is going to be our first B tier special event item, which is sad because most of these special event time items are super cool. But there we have it. We've now ranked every bow in the game, and to be honest, I think basically all these bows look great. I feel like the art department on this game did a really good job. I love the look of all the uniques, but some uniques compared to the others just don't quite match up. But sadly, that will have to do it for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you are new, I appreciate if you subscribe. If you like the video, new videos every month, and remember to stay jolly.